Welcome back to our next lesson in QuickBooks Online, talking all about lists. QuickBooks uses lists for quite a few things to be able to organize, to report on, and to track lots of things inside of the QuickBooks system. So we're going to go look at lists. Click on your gear icon. And right here you have lists. So we're going to click on all lists. From this tab here, you're able to navigate to quite a few places. The chart of accounts, which we've been on recently. Recurring transactions. We'll click on this for a second. If you have transactions that happen every month, be it a bill, be it something that's being automatically debited from your account, it could be an invoice that you need to send a client on a recurring basis, you can save yourself some time by setting these transactions up in QuickBooks as recurring transactions. There are a few options in here. We're going to go ahead and walk through quickly adding one. So let's just say that you wanted to be able to, let's think of something that's really simple to do. You have an expense. Okay. Let's assume that instead of receiving a bill from your internet provider, it just gets debited from your account every month. So we're going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it internet because I don't know what your provider is. The type of recurring transaction, it could be a schedule, which means it will happen automatically. It could be a reminder, which means it will not happen automatically, but it will remind you to do it. Or it could be unscheduled. And unscheduled is if you wanted to have a list of transactions to use kind of as templates, but you don't want anything to happen automatically, but you don't want to have to recreate it every single time. You can save it as an unscheduled template here. So then you tell QuickBooks how many days in advance do you want it to enter the transaction. I'm going to say 0. I want it to happen on the day that the transaction is going to hit my account. And let's assume that Cal Telephone is my internet provider. It's going to come out of my checking account. Every month on the 5th of the month, starting with, and it has to be a date in the future, starting with August 5th. And if I wanted to end this recurring transaction to end at a certain time, say that you were going to do a 4-month subscription with a software provider where they're dividing your payments over 4 months, and you just wanted to make sure that you captured those transactions and did not forget them, you could do that here. But in this case, this is going to be indefinite because it is internet. So I'm going to scroll down. Payment method. Some people use it. It's really not necessary. It's completely something internal for your benefit. There's no way to report on that. I typically do not use payment method when I'm recording transactions. Category details. Since this is going to be internet, I don't even know. Let's see here. So there's no category for internet right now. Let's see if they have utilities. Remember, this is a demo account, so I could go in and create one, but we're going to just lump it in as utilities and just put internet as the description and say it's going to be $75 a month. And that's it. I'm just going to hit Save Template. So now this transaction is here. So I have this. Now we have 3. So on the 15th of the month, these bills are automatically being entered into the sample file here. And on the 5th of August, we will have an expense automatically entered into our checking account for $75 for Cal Telephone to pay our internet. Now this is obviously it's not paying Cal, but it's recording the transaction in QuickBooks. So it just makes it for one less thing that I, as the business owner, have to do. Very simple. So we're going to go back to all lists to look at what else we could do here. Products and services. So products and services is really going to be a nice backbone to your business, especially if you sell products. As a service provider, there are a few things in here. In this case, we have design, lighting and rocks and different landscaping things. So these are basically going to be all of the items that you would use to bill clients for, or things that you are purchasing to run your business. And I don't mean like paper and ink and staples, but I mean if you are let's see here, in my case, I am an accounting firm, and some of the things that we purchase directly to use for a client could be like QuickBooks subscriptions. We purchase from QuickBooks and we're a reseller. So that's an example of something for us. In this case, for our example client here, Craig's Landscaping, they have a design fee that they charge. They sell concrete and pumps and fountains, and these are all the components to put in a fountain in someone's home or business. So they have all of these as options for their products and categories. As you can see here, these have been grouped together. So landscaping is a heading, and under landscaping, they have all these options. Whereas up here, fountains was the heading. They have options, and then under design is yet more headings. So you can get really creative on how you want to track things in your business, because it is your business and there are ways that you maybe need to see things. So this gives you some flexibility in customizing this. I will say that for most of you, you're going to have a limit on how many products and services that you can have. QuickBooks has limits now for some of the transactions. And it's nothing really low. We're talking a couple of hundred probably. So just keep that in mind as you're creating your products and categories, to not get too granular. Like if it's something that you're going to purchase to resell one time only, I would not give it its own name. It will make your list incredibly long and incredibly difficult to use. So just keep that in mind. So let's go back to all lists. We've talked about products and services, product categories. That's just a way, what I just showed you with the headings is a way to just organize some of your products. Custom style, form styles, we've already talked about that. Payment methods. So when you receive payments from clients, you can set those up. And the reason you may want to do that, if I receive a check from a client, I always want to record the check number, just in case there's ever a question on how, if I say, Mr. Jones, we never received your payment for April. And he says, yes, you did. I paid you a check number 7722. I want to be able to go look and see if we ever received a check number 7722. If I'm not tracking that information, then I have no way of proving that we never received the check that he is referring to. The other thing you see in here are that you can list different credit cards. Is it necessary to list out American Express versus Diner, Discover, MasterCard? Not really, because when you go to process them, the processing service knows what it is, but it does give you the option of checking whether or not it's a credit card, so that it knows, oh, okay, this is a credit card. It gives you the option of running the credit card to be paid here in the office. Terms. So if you're not familiar with terms, what those are, think about it as you giving credit to your clients or vendors giving credit to you. What I mean by that is, if I were to go into Walmart today to make a purchase for $100, Walmart is expecting me to pay them $100 right now at the cash register before I can walk out of the store with my items. However, if I am a business and I've set up a business account with a vendor, then they may decide to give me terms. They may say, here, we will provide this service or these products to you. Here is an invoice, and you have 15 days to pay us, or 30 days, or 60 days, depending on whatever those terms are, and vice versa. I, as a business owner, can say, here's an invoice to my clients. It's due now, so you need to pay me today, or I may say it's due in 15 days or it's due in 30 days. So these are terms. These here that are listed are generally your standard terms, 10 days, 15, 30, 60, due on receipt. But you may have a client or a vendor that has something that's a bit unique, 45 days or 90 days. And then that's the case, just the same way we entered a new account, you can just enter a new term. It's very simple, very self-explanatory. And finally, under our list tab, our attachments. So one of the cool things about QuickBooks Online that you will learn about is that you can attach documents to every single transaction. So it means your receipts can live in here and you don't have to worry about maintaining that folder full of receipts. It also means you can attach documents to your customer profiles. So whatever documents that you have added to QuickBooks will be in here. So all the attachments could be in one digital location. So we don't have any attachments yet in this particular file, but if we did, you could find them here. Of course, you can find them on the actual individual transactions as well. So that is a very quick, but I think thorough overview of the list function in QuickBooks Online. Of course, if you have any questions about lists, about anything that we've talked about, products and services, which we will go over in a little bit more detail, please head over to the Facebook group, put your questions there, because there could be others who are wondering the same thing. So go in, ask your questions, and we will come back and answer them for you in more detail. Thank you again for this lesson, and we will see you in our next one.